The urban legends of the Pentagon. Is it a real possibility or just a figment of humanity's imagination? A mere urban legend? Is this rumor ultimately a good thing or a bad thing? Tonight, once again, we'll examine whether it's true or not from a Japanese perspective. The most powerful military building on the planet has 5 sides, no discernible center, and 17.5 miles of corridors so complex that new employees are given maps just to find the bathroom. But the maps don't show everything. There are floors that don't appear on any official blueprint, rooms that were sealed decades ago and never reopened, and a corridor, deep inside the building, that senior staff have been quietly told never to enter alone. This is not a conspiracy theory. These are the urban legends that live inside the walls of the Pentagon itself. And some of them, the government has never actually denied. Part 1. Introduction. Every culture has a building that carries its secrets in the walls. A house, a church, a castle. America has the Pentagon. Completed in January 1943, it is the single largest office building in the world. Over 23,000 military and civilian personnel work inside it every single day. It contains its own zip code, its own police force, its own fire department, its own metro station. And for over 80 years, it has generated a collection of stories so persistent, so specific, and so deeply embedded in the culture of the people who work there that calling them just rumors has started to feel naive. We're going to go inside. The Pentagon was designed in 11 months. It was built in 16. By the standards of the time, it was an almost inhuman construction feat. 680,000 tons of concrete poured into a shape that, from above, looks less like a government office and more like something drawn on a ritual altar. 5 sides, 5 floors above ground, 2 basement levels that appear on public records, and a number of sublevels that the Department of Defense does not publicly discuss. The building sits on land that was, prior to construction, known as Hell's Bottom, a marshy, low-lying swamp on the Virginia side of the Potomac River. The locals who lived there before it was seized by eminent domain reportedly left without protest. Some accounts say they left quickly. Keep that in mind. Part 3. The complete story. Let's begin at the beginning, or as close to it as the public record allows. 1943, the hidden basement. Within months of the Pentagon's opening, rumors began circulating among junior staff about a level below the known basement that appeared on none of their floor maps. Workers reported hearing mechanical sounds from beneath the lowest accessible level, a consistent, rhythmic hum that facilities maintenance repeatedly attributed to ventilation systems. 1954, corridor for the Pentagon has 5 main corridors, labeled, unimaginatively, corridors 1 through 5, connecting its concentric rings. But beginning in the early 1950s, maintenance staff began referring to Corridor 4 in a way that made newer employees uncomfortable. Not because of anything they could point to, not because of a specific incident, because of how people felt walking through it. A disproportionate number of staff, across different decades, with no apparent connection to one another, described the same thing: a sudden, sourceless anxiety somewhere in the middle of Corridor 4. A feeling that they were being watched from a direction that had no windows and no visible cameras. The Army Corps of Engineers conducted 2 separate structural reviews of Corridor 4, one in 1961, one in 1989. Neither review was published in full. 1963, the week after Dallas. Here's where the story gets darker. In the days following the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, several senior Pentagon officials were reportedly relocated to an undisclosed section of the building's innermost ring for what was described internally as a continuity of operations protocol. This is documented, at least in part. COG, continuity of government. Procedures were standard Cold War practice. What is not documented is what a retired signals officer in a 1997 oral history interview archived at George Washington University described as the removal of files from a room that was not supposed to exist, on a floor that was not supposed to be accessible. He did not elaborate. The interviewer did not follow up. The interview was archived. And then, for 11 years, it was listed as unavailable for review. It became available again in 2008. No explanation was given for the gap. 2001, September 11th, and the missing minutes. You know the official timeline of what happened at the Pentagon on September 11th, 2001. Flight 77 struck the building at 9:37 a.m. The impact killed 125 people inside the building and all 64 aboard the plane. But here is something that rarely makes it into the mainstream retellings. In the immediate aftermath, recovery teams working in the damaged sections of the outer rings reported something that appeared in several first-hand accounts and was later quietly removed from the consolidated incident report. They reported finding a section of interior wall in a part of the building the plane's impact path should not have reached that appeared to have been recently disturbed, cleared out, emptied, not by the crash. The debris pattern was wrong for that. The disturbance, according to the accounts, predated the impact. Someone had cleaned out a room in the Pentagon sometime before the plane hit. Let that sit for a moment. Part 4. Theories. Now let's look at the explanations, all of them. The structural theory engineers who have reviewed publicly available Pentagon blueprints point out that the building's pentagonal geometry creates natural acoustic anomalies. The hum reported in the basement could genuinely be low-frequency resonance from the building's HVAC systems, amplified and distorted by the geometry into something that seems sourceless. The anxiety felt in Corridor 4? Infrasound, frequencies below human hearing, produced by large mechanical systems, known to induce feelings of unease, dread, and the sensation of being watched. This explanation is scientifically grounded, and it accounts for a lot. The historical theory the land beneath the Pentagon has a complicated history that predates American independence. Hell's Bottom was not just a colorful name. It referred to an area with a documented history of flooding, disease, and a disproportionate number of violent deaths during the Civil War era. Historian James Loewen, in his work on Sundown Towns and Erased American Geography, noted that certain parcels of American land carry histories that are deliberately omitted from official development records. The Pentagon was built fast, built cheap, and built on land nobody else wanted. Whether that history means anything beyond the historical is a question each viewer has to answer for themselves. The psychological theory institutional memory is a powerful and underappreciated force. The Pentagon is a building where people understand, viscerally, that decisions made inside its walls have led to the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people. The weight of that knowledge, psychologists argue, creates a kind of ambient dread that gets transmitted culturally between staff and then gets attached to specific physical spaces. Corridor 4 doesn't cause anxiety. The anxiety finds Corridor 4 and stays there. The paranormal theory. This one is harder to dismiss than it should be, for one specific reason: the U.S. government's own documented history of taking the paranormal seriously. Project Stargate, the CIA's two-decade remote viewing program. The declassified files on psychic intelligence gathering that were released in 1995 and promptly ignored by most of the mainstream press. If the U.S. government spent millions of dollars and 20 years researching psychic phenomena inside buildings that included sections of the Pentagon, the possibility that certain spaces within that building were specifically chosen, designed, or used for those purposes is not a paranormal claim. It is a historical one. The conspiracy theory, and here it is. The theory that ties everything together. The Pentagon, this argument goes, was never just a military headquarters. Its pentagonal shape, a geometric form with deep roots in esoteric tradition, was chosen deliberately. The sublevels that don't appear on public blueprints house programs that have never been disclosed under any administration. The room that was cleared before September 11th wasn't emptied in anticipation of the attack. It was emptied because the attack itself was connected to something stored there, something that needed to disappear before the cameras arrived. Is this true? There is no public evidence that confirms it. Let's be precise about what we actually know and what we don't. The hum in the basement sublevels, reported across multiple decades by unconnected personnel, has a plausible structural explanation. Infrasound is real. Acoustic anomalies in large geometric structures are real. This does not require a mystery to explain. The anxiety in Corridor 4, also explainable through infrasound and institutional psychological pressure. In 2022 and 2023, the Department of Defense released a series of previously classified documents related to UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena. Congressional hearings were held. Witnesses with active security clearances testified under oath about programs they claimed had been concealed not just from the public, but from Congress itself. David Grush, a former intelligence official, testified in July 2023 that the U.S. government possesses, and has possessed for decades, materials and information related to non-human intelligence. He named the Pentagon as a location where this information has been managed. He has not been charged with making false statements. The building that hummed in its basement in 1943. The corridor that made people feel watched in 1954. The room that was emptied before the plane hit in 2001. All of it sits inside the same five-sided structure where, in 2023, a man with a security clearance stood before Congress and described a concealment operation that he said had been running for decades. We are no longer in the territory of urban legend. We may be in the territory of something that doesn't have a name yet. Part 7. The final question: the Pentagon has 17.5 miles of corridors, 23,000 people walking through them every day, 80 years of classified decisions made inside its walls, and a basement that hums, even when everything else goes silent. The legends that live inside that building have survived because the people who work there keep telling them. People who have spent their careers inside one of the most secured buildings on Earth, and they still feel like something in there is being kept from them. So I'll leave you with this. If the people inside the Pentagon don't know everything that's inside the Pentagon, what does that tell you about what they've told the rest of us? Let me know what you think in the comments. This has been ULW Radio. We'll see you in the next legend.